She is founder and managing partner of Stinson Partners, and she will tell you a little bit more about the common mistakes that startups do and tell you how to avoid them. I welcome on stage Beth Topolovsky.
Thanks. Thank you. Hello.
Welcome.
It's so great to be here. I wanted to first of all say congratulations and thanks to Nick and Marie and team. This is such a fun event. I really feel like a warrior amongst peers being here. The entrepreneur world is not easy. We all have our scars and bruises, but it feels like everybody in this crowd gets that and still drives on with passion. So it's really great to be here. Very inspiring. Let's see. I jumped into the entrepreneur world not that long ago, actually. And thanks. Let's see. Okay, quite. All right. Which button do I push?
You push the right one. We need to adjust the light, I think, for audience to see these slides.
Ooh, actually, the first one is kind of dark.
All right.
Should use different colors, but anyway. I jumped into the entrepreneur world from Hewlett-Packard and then Cisco were the main companies that I was involved with in Silicon Valley. I also went to school out there, so pretty much all my working career has been in the Valley before coming to Sweden. Cisco asked me to come out to Sweden and run a company that they had purchased back during the bubble days. So I got to come out here and really work with that team and get it organized and on its feet and running, and the team did an excellent job with really getting on-time delivery with products and so forth. Thereafter, I jumped into the entrepreneur world by starting a company with the guys from that Cisco team. And long story, but have started a couple companies, and now I have my own company that focuses on helping high-tech companies really get on their feet and develop high performance within their organizations. So my passion is about building companies. It's about getting excellence in the organizations, and it's about helping the ideas progress and develop really strong business cases and profitability out of companies. I'm not an idea generator. So I'm one of those kind of entrepreneurs that takes others' ideas and really gets some juice out of it. So there's all types of us in entrepreneurs, but mine is about operational excellence and building companies. That's my passion. So it was a good topic ahead of mine talking about failure. I think it is very important to get intimate with failure. Really understand it, try it on, how does it feel, where did you make your mistake, internalize it, and of course go on and do something differently the next time. I think it's really important to talk to others about where they felt that they failed, so you can learn, so you don't have to go through that same failure. Although I've heard many psychologists talk about you really don't learn until you feel the pain yourself. I think we all have learned that with relationship breakups, and finally we're going to quit dating that type personality. But I think you do have to go through a lot of the falling down to be able to get it, what it is that you're not doing right. So the topic today is really to try to avoid some of the pitfalls in starting and building companies. I now work with organizations, and I can see, I work with them in the capacity of helping to get their operations really efficient and running like machines. And it's so clear to me why some of these companies don't end up being very profitable, and that they get slowed down and bogged down, and the founder is still there and very frustrated, and why isn't it working like it used to work, and so forth. So if I go backwards and look at some of the different stages of companies that I've worked in, it's very clear to me what you really need to think about when you're starting and launching your companies. And I think that these principles apply to a 3-person company as well as a large organization. I see that with all the different phases of companies that I work with. So let's go through some of them. Okay, thinking you're unique. We all want to. Our mothers tell us we are, but I think it's fine to think that you're unique, but don't be convinced that you're unique. That is the trap. Once you think that you're unique and you continue to be unique, you forget about competition, you forget about looking over your shoulder and seeing who's out there doing something like you are and maybe better. So I think it's dangerous to get into this mode of thinking that you're unique. I'm not sure if you all have heard about the concept of the 100th monkey. Has anybody heard about that? It's a study that was done a long time ago about the size of a mass of people. And that after a while, ideas actually transgress through organizations or a number of people. And the idea actually ends up at the 100th monkey of where it started, without ever really knowing each other. So in a mass of about 100 people, a unique idea will get passed to the 100th monkey pretty readily, pretty quickly. So if there are at least 100 people, you can be pretty sure that 2 people have come up with the idea that you've come up with. I'm not explaining this theory too well, but actually some scientists studied Japanese researchers and discovered this 100th monkey effect. Anyway, look it up. But that's the trick with thinking that you're unique. And you can be sure that venture capitalists, as they sit through their day-to-day operations and hear all these business cases that come through their doors, you can be assured they hear the same pitch multiple times. Andy Grove, the CEO of Intel for a long time, famously coined the phrase about being paranoid, healthy paranoid or something like that. And that is really a lot about the Silicon Valley thinking, is to look over your shoulders. It's about competition, and it's about being very aware, maybe aggressive is too strong a word, but being aware and very attentive to competition. So careful about that thinking about you're unique. Also, companies go awry, or business cases slow down or get impacted when they're underdeveloped. So you've got this unique idea, you've got a great team, you've got a customer, but what from there? Here's a long laundry list of things to think about to make sure that you are answering in a very strong way so that you feel satisfied that the business concept can actually, that it does actually solve a problem that's in the field, that people want a solution to this problem, and that you know how to sell it to them, you know how to reach them, you know how to price it, you know how to make the profit on it. And it's also about looking at the team that you're building in being able to do this, because you're not going to stay with just 3 people, right? So business cases usually start pretty good, and that's a clever idea and really fantastic. But as many of you know in the room, going through the whole venture capitalist cycle, you get grilled on this stuff, because these are the points that really pull out the successful business teams, ideas, cases from those that are not. So as you're building, just assure yourself that you can satisfactorily answer all these questions and come up with some good solutions. Okay, another impediment to growing your business is choosing the wrong money. If you all have had angel support or venture capital support, you know it comes with some baggage. It comes with some opinions. It comes with some personalities that are not always easy to deal with. But what impacts younger companies quite severely is choosing the wrong money. And money is green, or whatever color, many colors, but you really need to be careful in who you're bringing into your team, because it isn't quiet money. And the way to really look at that is the right and the wrong aspects. And the right, let's just start with that. The right money is money that's supportive. It's smart money. They know your market, they know your customers, they see the problem that you're trying to solve, they have that problem. They've been thinking, that they've got experience in your market. Reasonable tranches, I think, is also about smart money. When capital expects you to iterate 18 times a year, okay, go do this and then I'll give you 100,000 more. Go do this and then I'll give you 200,000 more. Stop it. That you don't get anywhere. You spend all your time chasing after those tranches. You need to have money that will support you, give you time, bring in the money enough to get you launched, enough so that you can have progress. These tiny little tranches, which is I see that as a typical method that a lot of European venture capitalists use, that the tranches are quite a bit shorter than that from Silicon Valley. The Silicon Valley, chunk of money, okay, perform, and we're checking in. But you've got the money there to work with, right? So be careful about the short-term tranches, and you can push back on those to make sure that you've got enough runway and time to achieve what you need to build your business. Otherwise, you're just going to get caught in only fulfilling those tranches objectives. The right money brings in a network. I cannot stress this enough, how important it is to have people on your board who have a network to help you grow your business. That's a part of the money, of right money, of good money, that can contribute in that way. It expands your business and your network like crazy. So that's super important. An active board, this is another one. Boards come in all different types of personalities. The productive ones are ones that have board members who are active. They take action items, they go do them, and they come back and provide. Maybe they have a contact in a law firm that knows something particular, and okay, great. I sit on a few boards, and I think what I find disappointing is this concept that people think that board positions are honorary, that it's just nice to have them sitting there on the board and their name and so forth. Don't let those people on your board. You really have to think about what they're bringing. It's not about warming the seat, and a board position is not an honorary position. Make sure that you set expectations with your board that they will be active. The other thing is experience, of course. It's the ultimate to have your financial support come from people who have the experience. Building companies, helping companies connect, sales, getting into different stages of a company. So it's a relationship, symbiotic relationship that you want to have with your capital coming in. Okay, now the other side, because we're doing a lot of this double talking today, what not to do. I always like to focus on what to do and not focus on the not to do, but we have to talk about it. So wrong money, they provide busy money, as I described before about tranching. They bring in their friends. You guys seen that before? In companies or on boards, friends come in. Well, what skills do those friends have? I do think it's important to build companies with people that you like. Very, very important. But they also have to have the skill to contribute to the business case. Some money comes with ulterior motives. I've seen cases where the investors were putting money into a particular company with an ultimate objective to merge it with one of their other investments. Okay, you better know that ahead of time. You better really make sure you understand why these investors are investing in you. Also, a lot of this busy work and inexperienced or unknowledgeable investors in your business case can suck up a lot of your time and your money and your attention. So just be careful about that. Also, is another important part too, is when times get tough, you want people to be able to stick around and help you figure out how to deal with this lawsuit that you're being slapped with, right? You need to have some endurance and fortitude on your board that can help you work through these. Business is business. People get really tough. Behavior changes unexpectedly from business partners. So you want to be able to deal with that and have the strength on your board to come up with solutions and deal with the stress of it all. So make sure that you've got that rock solid. Okay, what else here? This is one of my favorites. I see a lot of early stage companies that don't take management seriously. Management is, in my mind, what makes companies go round. If you don't have good management, you don't have direction. Management brings in the right people into the company, the right helps set the right direction for the company. It builds structure for an organization. In my view, you have 3 people, and then you start, in that case, you start to need some structure. You need to know who's the leader and start growing your organization like that. We're people that need to know where we're going. We need to know the expectations of our performance. We need to know when we're meeting those expectations and when we're not. All these things are really, really basic management aspects. And as I'm now working with a lot of companies that need help, everybody asks me, well, you know, what is it when you go into companies and help them get restructured and help them build their performance? What is like the main thing of why they need to bring me in? And I always say it's management. And it's a very simple word, but it's a very complex concept. And a lot of entrepreneurs, inventors, business people, sales folks who are very good at bringing in sales, they're not good managers. And you have to pay attention to that because that builds your culture in the company, that builds your performance, that gets everybody going, all that energy going down the right productive way. So don't forget about management. And you know, management is kind of a tricky thing. You know, when we all first took if you remember when you took your first position as a manager, it felt a little bit weird. It felt a little bit awkward to have this, you know, power or level difference with yourself. I take that very seriously because it affects the individual's whole life. You all know what life is like to work in a company where you don't really like your manager or you don't respect your manager. So I take management extremely serious because I know that it affects a lot of people. So you've got to iterate. You have to know how to manage the individuals in that organization. Lots of books about it, but it's also about getting feedback. Keep yourself open and understand what's working and what isn't in an organization. Okay. All right, last point here. I think that it slows companies down when you're really good at saving money and you're forgetting about the big money. I see this a lot where companies they get stuck. They really do need some help in one particular area. Maybe bring in a consultant to do something, but it's too expensive. Okay, we'll just do it ourselves. And lo and behold, 6 months later, it's still not done, and everything is kind of getting adjusted around it that isn't working very well. So if you need to spend the money, and of course you got to think it through, do that. It will help you grow faster. It also could bring in some experience that you never realized that you didn't have. It's sort of that thing where you don't know what you don't know. That to me is the scariest part. And that also is the hardest part in my job, working with individuals who don't know what they don't know. Okay, well, in that, hopefully they're also not blocked to learning. That's why I say, get in some help or some advice or somebody to come in and just build that section of the code instead of trying to invent the wheel yourself and to get the product out the door. So careful about saving too much money just to save your business case, your margins and so forth. But just be careful about that because it can really slow down your growth. Okay, those are my 5 lessons. Of course, Maria had a million more, but there's lots of lessons and we all learn that, but those are the basic top 5.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we are running a little bit behind program, so we hope that Beth have the opportunity to stay around during the day, and during lunch break and coffee breaks, you might approach Beth and ask her any kinds of questions. Unfortunately, we have to proceed.
Okay.
Thank you.